Good afternoon, everyone. As everyone's settling in, I just would like to make some announcements, and I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to all the community that are joining us, both virtually and in person, for the second weekend of teachings at Garchen Rinpoche. So welcome to everyone. I just want to say that I really rejoice that we can all be here together in just this really intimate setting and via live stream to receive these rare and precious teachings by Garchen Rinpoche. And I know as I look around the room, I see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces as well. So I know throughout the next couple weeks, I really look forward to meeting everyone. I wanted to also say that we are also very fortunate to have many visitors from near and far to join us, and many on live stream. Dharma Surya in Fairfax, Virginia, hello to the center there. They are also streaming this. And to Padmasambhava Study Group in Vancouver, hello to them. They are also joining us via live stream. And also on Facebook Live, we are also with the Vietnamese community in Vietnam. So we're really reaching a lot of people. So for everyone that we see in here, there are just so many more people out there that are here with us. So I know we'll all hold them very close. We will begin the empowerment at 2:30. So before we start, I just wanted to cover a couple housekeeping items, as I don't want to make any announcements following the empowerment, to provide a quiet space to continue to receive the blessings that we'll be receiving from Rinpoche. So one thing is, if you could please put your cell phones on airplane mode, and also refrain from downloading anything during the teaching time, as we are streaming, so we don't want that to affect our streaming. We have a shoe rack outside on the outside doors and a small one inside and also downstairs. So if we could please keep this outer area clear of shoes for particularly Rinpoche's safety when he's coming and going. And as this is a narrow street, I'm sure many of you have noticed that by now. And we really want to be kind to our neighbors. Some of them don't have garages. If you could please pull up as close to the curb as possible. Be sure and pull your mirrors in, and also just kind of spread out around the street. We are very fortunate that Omar Park Methodist Church and Belmont High School are on Wayne Avenue are also providing us with parking. And I have the days that we can park there, and also the addresses out on the table. So please feel free to take your vehicles there and park. It's just a short walk, several blocks. So it's very, very nice walk, and also a way to have a little less crowdedness around the building. We also have many who are here at the temple staying and in the area, and they don't have a car. So I have a sign-up sheet outside with if you'd like to give a ride or if you would like to receive a ride. So please be sure and sign that up if you're interested in that. The schedule for the weekend is this evening from 7 to 8:30, and Friday evening we will be practicing the Bum Sok, and this is dedicated to the long life, and that will be of Garchen Rinpoche, and that will be starting at 7 p.m. tonight, so it will be from 7 to 8:30 p.m. So please, if you have the opportunity to join us for that, that will be tonight and tomorrow, and then next week on Thursday and Friday as well. If you would like to offer a mandala offering, please see Terry in the bookstore. And also, David Arndt has so kindly offered to electronically email anybody who would like the Wrathful and Peaceful Padmasambava text. So I have a sign up on the table out here. If you're interested, please put your name and email address, and David will be happy to get that text to you. So thank you, David. That's really appreciated. And in addition, we would like to honor our spiritual director today, Padmasambhava. It is his birthday. So in order to celebrate Kempo, we have some lovely ladies from the Vietnamese community, and also one of our from our cooking team, Elvira, who are making soup today. So we will have a light soup for Kempo and whoever would like to join underneath the tents out there following the empowerment. So please join us. And of course, birthday cake. I don't want to forget that. And one thing above all, we're here to support you in receiving these precious teachings. So if there's anything we can provide you with comfort or any of your needs, Diana's up here in the shrine room with Michael, and they're here to help with you find texts, answer questions. Diana's also overseeing the soaks. So if you have any questions about that, would like to make an offering or contribution monetarily to the soaks, we welcome you to do so. So thank you, everyone. Welcome to Gardroma, and look forward to spending this weekend together.
주로는 받아야 봐. 당시 다른 보를 가면 옆에요. 그랬더니 이나 되는 것이 물론 가면 되는데 무슨 남바 사제 발에 쇼니 되니 다다 심지어 통제 되어서 된거 등에서 잘고 와서 뒤쳐야 그 사과로서 너무 가지고는 나라 당하서 자소 제배되네 대통령 핑고 상비 로데게 폐료리 이는 대변을 되니까 아니 초과 자치고 되게 니 바이야 초를 되게 초과 친구 초지 초거든 생줄이 되게 초사까지 생초다 말이야 생줄이 되게 미제 초과라고 그래 그래서 저 초과 상신은 초대는 이게 되게지 이때 강의진에서 다 미제로 습진 탐제 대화가 되고 동네에서 잘고 상 페프로리 대회는 되니 그래서 쌈집을 잡더니 어서 가라가 된바 탐제 대표발들 다시 들리셔니 이제 동다 쳐버려야지.
So, my Dharma friends, many of you came here today from really far away, also enduring many hardships to come here. But now the motivation for coming here is that once we have entered the Buddha Dharma, it is our intention to bring happiness to sentient beings and to separate them from suffering. And especially in the Jigong Kagyu lineage, in the beginning we say we cultivate such a wish primarily, or first and foremost, towards our enemies and those who dislike us. And we first want to benefit them and then all beings. So with that intention, all of you came here today. So that this gathering here is really very precious. Now we speak about a Sangha assembly, and when 4 Sangha members come together, that is called a division or an assembly of the Sangha. And the Sangha assembly is said to be the supreme field of accumulation. therefore, when only 4 people come together, it already becomes very meaningful. So of the various kinds of gatherings of people, the gathering of the Sangam is the most supreme one. And the reason for that is because even if only 4 people, 4 Sangha members come together, they gather with the intention to bring about the happiness of sentient beings and to separate sentient beings from suffering. And that is why such a gathering is really inconceivable. And we are all very fortunate. So first, thank you all for coming with that intention, Dashi Delek, because this gathering really is very meaningful.
왕 로마 강의는 디사하 왕도 쇼만용을 배우나 사람 남는 단소데 왕도 쇼만용을 배우나 왕동 시험할 때
So now Rinpoche is asking who of you has never received an empowerment before. Now we are speaking about any empowerment from any Lama in the Vajrayana. So if you have never received an empowerment before, that's your very first empowerment, then could you please raise your hand?
Oh, 빼야버려야
Very good.
등당부 왕을 들었지. 왕이 그때 되는 망방으로 요래. 그 가시 왕대 저기 슈초부초 요말이 한국의 물을 못지 예니 성대 왕수 초기요래. 슈무 초지와대 왕의 도움 실어드는데 도움에 가서 지와 가시라면서 들이 따다 맞지 들었더니 대 동당doctor 말이 되라고 말하더데 저 당왕수 초부초 요마방 삼수 초기요래. 들이 따다 한국의 물을 못지 서이나 왕수 초기요래. 대표 왕실이 동시밖에 제벌에 농학의 제벌 왕에서 돌아미들이 산속성지 우종 드린 말은 데가 탑지 제벌했더니 체질 루지로 상제가 다 합서 대성 왕서.
And that is not excellent if that is your first empowerment. And actually, and the more empowerments you receive, actually, the better it is. Because the reason for saying that is because sometimes people have opinions about whether one is allowed to receive a certain empowerment or not. Actually, there is nothing that is not allowed about receiving an empowerment, because we all possess a precious human body that is endowed with 6 constituents. And having these qualities, we are allowed or permitted to receive an empowerment. The difference now only lies in understanding the meaning of the empowerment. So if we receive an empowerment, but we don't really understand the meaning, and therefore we don't practice, then the benefit will only become clear after several lifetimes. But not then in this lifetime, the quality of the empowerment, the fruition cannot be accomplished. But still, that does not actually mean that one is not allowed to receive an empowerment. Really, everyone is allowed to receive empowerment. Every human being that possesses this precious human body with the 6 constituents or elements can receive an empowerment. But in general, it is important to understand the meaning of the empowerment. So it is said the empowerment is the difference between the sutras and the tantras. According to the sutra path, we focus primarily on training the mind in bodhicitta. And in the Vajrayana path, we rely on the path of skillful means, and that enables us to attain enlightenment in a single lifetime, in a single body. So that's the purpose of the secret mantra empowerment.
대형자가 노하니 가까이 살해서 싸우는 말이 내가 돈을 민지적 왕물라고 하면 마미바 가래를 마미바 생긴 미나 가래서 생기 탑재 사제 잡혀요래 배 강내에 드나 사제 탑재 약도 쳐보다래 생기적인 차원 따위 차대 가리게 차송되는 나이 이진의 차단을 내막고 쌓았더니 때 다른 차원도 차요 삐대리 민전 차원도 쉬었더니 나도 쳐서 빠차 그때 상계지 대리 동다 대는 돌아내더니 상속선을 보죠 그는 다디미 바시에 자만 오줄래 그 매야 동들 말았니 오 대리 니와 대해서 탑도 강에 선대 당디미와 차는데 사마체미 이제 팀이 차는 다다 서적당năng 세자당năng 대지 바차당 대기요를 나오는 말이 대지 다 벌써 말아들이 르면 벌써 말아 제는 마음에 벌써 말아들이 마 대바 대인들이 체질 루직들이 선미 벌써 받죠 말도 마성들 사하 탑 대지에 사하 탑만 보라 탑만 가와미 바데 네 사하 탑 제는 다 마다야 대요를
And so then one might think that there is a difference between the sutras and the tantras. Actually, that is also not at all true. Now, the empowerment, we also call it the ripening empowerment. What is it that is unripe? What needs to be ripened? It is sentient beings. And when sentient beings ripen, they all are actually Buddhas. For example, the Buddhas are like a vast ocean, and sentient beings are like ice blocks. And how have they become ice blocks? It is due to the dualistic grasping at self and other, and then the many karmas that they accumulate with a mind of attachment and aversion. This is what makes their mind become like an ice block. But the ice block can be melted, and when it melts, it becomes one with the ocean again. And that is the state of enlightenment. Now, in the sutra path, one habituates the precious bodhicitta and eventually in this way eliminates self-grasping, and that is the method to ripen the mind throughout many lifetimes. And then according to the tantric path is a path that is much closer to enlightenment because it provides many skillful means. So now when it comes to the mind, now the ripening of the mind, they are the same, Sutra and Tantra. That is, we need to free the mind of self-grasping. But even if we cultivate a mind of immeasurable love and compassion, then still there are these ordinary imprints regarding the outer form and the inner body and the outer sound and the inner speech. And we these habitual patterns in our mind make us identify with these, with the body and the speech. That is I. And now, according to the tantric path, now we ripen the body and the speech, those habitual imprints. So the body is ripened by the generation stage, the visualization, and then the speech is ripened through the mantra recitation. And this is how the Vajrayana path becomes a method to attain enlightenment in a single lifetime, a single body. Now, when it comes to ripening the mind, the sutras and the tantras are the same. It is through bodhicitta. But then the Vajrayana also provides many skillful means that require the least difficulty. So the skillful means in the secret mantra and the Vajrayana is the visualization, the generation stage of the deity, and the mantra recitation.
비는 초통마 사장데 이절이 다 빠르지. 로를 진들이 나는 똑바나 말라서 로들이 동처럼 차 너도 차를 첫 빠르가 진대도 내가 레당 문제 레당 차지지나 띠리지나 받아도 되네. 로아로 내가 최 서로로 차요래. 데리 쪽으로 탑을 데리 쪽으로 탑을 들이자자 레비저로 사지로 쪽으로 탑 송구요래 이런 일단 고독하게 들어도 흘라 시와다 초 그릇 시와다 초니 제발 강해지 제슬라 통질 시와다 초니 요래 얘는 레비 요래 이네 시와다 잡지 레다 너무 써봐 그런 한시를 줄어 상받은 hin지란 게 받은 게 시와 너는 문제 레바장 톡바들이 다다 메카시는들이 나사르나 나사카시 민통자로 요래 나타같이 인기 문제 샤기 받을 자가 배대는 이제 그래서 같이 니 성숙도 독자를 삼고요. 오 다티 맞이와 대니 성숙도 레프자 톡자지 레디 세게 엄청다고 샤기 받다를 사기 잡게 배대다들이 라는들 뉴바울 때 이제 문제 다 오요 배나 대회나들이 slaap고 한게 뉴가 대탑들이 doctor가 뒤처리들이 slaap고 나바이어래 좀 처리한테다 레브제번에 왕왕 잡고서 시와의 제바 성들레 이나 시와의 제바 이 왕왕 잡고 이서 그 철도들 동남아 연도요 동대래
So in the beginning, when we first set out in the Vajrayana practice, we need to understand or develop a pure perception. And pure perception means that we understand that on the basis, all sentient beings are actually pure. And only temporarily they appear in an impure way because they are temporarily defiled. The Buddha also said all beings are actually Buddhas. They are only obscured by temporary stains. For example, that pure basis is like completely pure water. And then due to various temporary conditions that arise, the water becomes dirty, or it freezes into an ice block. It becomes like this solid thing. But the essence in being water is still the same. So it is due to a great variety of previous past karmas and temporary conditions that arise that the 6 realms of samsara appear just like blocks of ice. The beings in the 6 realms are like those ice blocks. And to become liberated from that, to melt the ice block, the Buddha had taught various methods of liberation. There basically are 4 enlightened activities. Also, the question arose, what's the difference, for example, between the peaceful and the wrathful Padmasambava? Actually, all the deities have this aspect of peaceful and wrathful of the 4 enlightened activities. The peaceful deities especially are meant for those who have karmas and afflictions, but naturally they have a disposition towards having a mind of love and compassion. So for them, a peaceful deity is very suitable. But then also, there's due to various karmas accumulated in the past, there's some whose habitual patterns, those imprints, are very strong, and then they might require a more forceful method. For example, it's like having an illness. For some, it is enough to just take some medicine and they will get better. But then for others, they will not get better by just taking medicine. They might need to do a surgery in order to heal. For example, also some people think that the 3 lower realms are so terrible and they pray to not be born in the lower realms. But actually, it is also a necessity to take birth in the lower realms when our karmas and habitual imprints are too thick. We can actually regard those lower realms just like a hospital or a doctor where we are doing a surgery, which is a necessary thing to be free from one's illness. So in any case, when those afflictions are present in the mind, they will have to become purified. And in order to purify very strong, powerful afflictions, a more fierce or forceful method or activity might be required. And that is, for example, the wrathful enlightened activity. So there is 4 enlightened activities, the magnetizing or overpowering and the wrathful in one class, and then the peaceful and the enriching in another class. So they can be divided into these two classes.
대대에다가 소장하선 람카가 카카들 타베트게 주디 열라서 카카 요리 열라 카시스데 카카도 스타베 카카 말이 강달지니 이제 보고서 쪼파 돈선 내직들 도다 내직 도마선 내직하는 저거래 가르치는 저거래 뉴모 받대 सबकी सेवी जो न्यूमो बाते चार को बाते तो मासन नहीं चिकली थे ना चार थाप जामरा चेपार समरे तेरे सोथार जो चुंका बेते न्यूमो बच्चे दुकान जग पांगे योरे तेरे सांसी की न्यूमो बच्चा दादी वहाँ कोने दादी चप्पल तरह थी संपादन नीचे की न्यूमो बच्चे को योरे तेरे सांहा के न्यूमो को रांची तावा को था 다지 님의 와하고는 소하게 시바데 뉴모보다는 뉴모데 시동하는 지레 배는 따와가면서 봐 니세미가 하는데 뉴모바타게 버신다를 해 뉴모가 제대로 버신 매직 상마책고를 버신은 매니 동치발에 버신을 남기 매에 시바르지 소하게 시바데 너는 소동하서 뉴모 아마 뜻 제대로 너는 뭐 아들들 소방하서 쭉 이래버지 이거 하고 들소서 줄 소리 내가 그냥이 답게 내 짓던데 다소 라만 토발을 광전에 라만 토고 요래 라만 토가 내가 또 라만 토고 요래 내가 토리서는 내가 다소 사기 공방 토를 라만 토고 때리는 왕전에 좀 대다래
So there are three levels of the path of practice: the Pratimoksha or individual liberation, Bodhisattva path, and the secret mantra or Vajrayana path. In the Vajrayana path, for example, we have different divisions of deity practice, the 4 classes of Tantra and so on. And so some people think that all of these different levels of practice are separate, are different from each other. But actually, they are not separate when it comes to the fruition. Lord Chükden Sumgön had said that the conduct of the 3 vows has a single crucial point. So the 3 levels of the vows, the 3 kinds of vows, according to the 3 paths, gather into one essential meaning. And that is, no matter what path we practice, sentient beings must become liberated from the afflictive emotions. And no matter what path we practice, that is the same. That is how the 3 vows have a single essential point. And then the method of liberation might vary. For example, in the individual liberation path, first one abandons the afflictive emotions based on fear, knowing that they are the cause of suffering. And then later, when one comes to the Bodhisattva path, then one recognizes that the root of all these afflictive emotions is self-grasping. And then one focuses only on taming self-grasping through cultivating boundless love and compassion. So here, the afflictive emotions are transformed through love and compassion. And then in the secret mantra, the Vajrayana path, one knows the nature of the afflictive emotions through the view. If you understand the correct view, you understand the non-duality of self and others. And therefore you understand, you know that the nature of the afflictions actually is the 5 wisdoms. So if you have the authentic view without any dualistic grasping, you see the afflictive emotions in its various forms like fire, wood. And it all becomes fire when it is burned away. So the nature of wood actually is fire. And so here the affliction becomes eliminated through knowing its nature. Now, the 3 levels of the path of Pratimoksha, Bodhisattva, and Vajrayana still have a single essential purpose, and that is to abandon the afflictive emotions. So the fruition is a single one. And if we understand that, also we will be free of any bias towards different traditions in the Dharma. it all comes down to one essential point. The ultimate fruition is to attain freedom. And that is also the purpose of receiving an empowerment. And what kind of freedom are we talking about? It is the freedom to attain happiness, and that is the happiness of birth in the 3 higher realms temporarily, and then the state of enlightenment ultimately. So that is the purpose of receiving an empowerment.
그래서 다 이제 성공 그래서 말에 다주 공부할 때는 주풍제제 니몽니 볼적 좀 너는 남바 사제베 주소당하 성가에나 탐티게 너무 방 탑대 권하게 이제 방 탑들이 방절시서 좀 소당하더라면 제발 라비 제발 대주 시합 최초만 되는들이 상하도 시합 첨부광들이 시합 첨부 탑을 때라 따와지지 매방들이 유목을 평딱 타고요 말이 때라 선남 바닥 딱 타고요 말이 대는 눈이 유목을 조스르고 차는 거요 대들이 나사하가들이 상하데 시합 첨부광을 특별히 지체발마도들이 주풍제신이 먹니 볼 적속 대형들이 유목과 탑집이 제시지도 싸 나디용서나 나디니 대형들이 대리 총알에 그때 탑집이 힘보르들이 산속선도 농가 송들이 산속선도구나 그때 이 신화 야마 신화들이 자성고요만 산속선을 뭐지에서 주성주 사리에 담게 진짜 왕 토마들이 다 세브라와 토고래 세브라와 마토들이 나디를 그러더라 나디는 유목밖에 유목을 내서 이용하지 별로 또 나와서 뭐 맞죠 코로랑 된 속바자 들 도도 가까도 파도들이 요바를 다 배능이지다 저 소소소 매바에 배서 유목을 이용하지도 들 파도는 세상의 왕도 손들 야바라 속 세상 코랑 야와 차에 대하고를 다 시작했더니 이런 방와 저라지 오 사바들이 치고를 때려서 하더라고요. 다사가 시작했더니 용어라는 의미가 용어대 중립과 시작했더니 서로 열강을 맞지 받는 용어도 마시네. 들이 용어가 쳐다보라면서 그러고래. 뒤치받은 신들이 라는 거 원보다 참배들이 양쪽 가리를 거 소주 가리에 팽을 줬대는데 라는 것들 라는 속 덮고래. 대형 쪽들이 메시지요 말 사속 선택도 오래 사속 선택 임평을 오래 임평을 오래 다 나한테들이란데 들이 보통 정말 파마나서 걸 열에 영한테 나기니지 이해야 다선샤로 걸 대만이 봐 사바체미 봐. 대 사바체미 봐 이게 제일 많이 거래. 그래서 아마 왕도 너런 거를 초대해 봐래. 또 사적 세우고 사적 세면들이 하는 데 같은 거요 말에.
Lord Jigten Sumgön had said in the Gong Chek that the 84,000 afflictions have a single antidote, and that is bodhicitta. So now, whatever practice we engage in, the point is to eliminate the afflictive emotions. Now, whether it is the individual liberation, the bodhisattva, or the Vajrayana path, they all are methods to abandon the afflictive emotions. And we enter any of those 3 kinds of paths depending on our own mental capacity. Either we enter the path of transforming or abandonment or knowing. In the Vajrayana path, where we know the nature, we realize the nature of the afflictions, that is the path that is meant for those with higher intelligence or a mental capacity. And you have that capacity when you understand that there is no self and other, there is no duality. And if you know that, you know the space-like nature of the mind. And in the space-like nature of the mind, there is nothing that can affect the mind in any way. Nothing can affect the space. So your mind cannot be affected negatively by any of the afflictions. And in fact, from that perspective, the afflictions even become an enhancement to your practice. So the Vajrayana is the sphere, the scope of those with higher mental capacities. But that's really the only difference. All of the different levels of the path are an antidote to the afflictive emotions. So whatever we practice, we must eliminate the afflictions. And then the root of these 84,000 afflictions is self-grasping. Because we grasp at a self, we grasp at a duality of self and other. And the antidote to that is bodhicitta, and that is common to both the sutras and the tantras. And if you only have bodhicitta, even if you don't know anything else, that is actually sufficient. But if you do not have bodhicitta, then no matter what you know, it will not lead to the ultimate fruition. So therefore, the Buddhas of the 3 times have called bodhicitta the precious bodhicitta. So also now, when we receive the empowerment, in the beginning, first we need to attain freedom of the mind. Because if we don't have freedom of the mind, we continue to grasp at the self. If we are grasping at a self, the afflictive emotions will arise. And when they arise, we will become controlled by them and accumulate karma. For example, if there is 2 friends who first love each other very much, then one day they get angry at each other, they fight, and then they separate. And after the other person has left, then one regrets, and then one suffers again. So it is because we are controlled by the afflictive emotions. And then later in the bardo, if we continue to be controlled by our anger, then naturally the natural reflection or projection of anger, of hatred, is the hell realm. Then naturally one will be drawn there. Now, so it depends what is your capacity. But for example, if you transform the afflictions, there's a method to transform the afflictions through love and compassion. Or you really transform them through practicing patience. And now, according to the Vajrayana, you know that the afflictive emotions lack any self-nature. And also you recognize the fault in the affliction, and therefore you are not focusing on the outer object or the person that has triggered it, but you're looking at your own affliction. And then seeing that it has no self-nature, you see how it disappears, just like a wave dissipates or subsides back into the water. So this is how we first attain freedom. And now depending on your own mental capacity and depending on what kind of practice benefits you the most, you know that for yourself, and depending on that, you should enter a path of practice. But in general, there is nothing that that cannot be understood here, because what's most important is bodhicitta, and the essence of that is the altruistic mind. For example, we have love, but the love is very biased due to our self-grasping. We love our family, like our children, husband, wife, our parents, and so on. But because we grasp at a self-other duality, we also have an aversion against other. So first we must develop immeasurable love for all beings. And when that arises, then you have actually become a proper and actually supreme vessel for receiving the empowerment of the Vajrayana. So it is determined by bodhicitta. If you do not give rise to bodhicitta, then the power of practicing the Vajrayana will actually not arise.
세상을 차도 초월들 성적들은 안 돼 봐요. 요래 그 요것당 그때 생종왕 마당 랑몽마 the samaya shingare, mini shingare, minimum Dati Lota, Jipping Lord Chipper, Tata, Jipping Lota, Granately, Mongishin, Yori, Terena Tata, say, Joan Mata, Nan Sinji, Numate and Girachibo, Ludela, Joan Matangu Yori, the sender in Monga, Kata Tiberilla, de la Nutunia, Jig Sangu Yori, Nine something, Dodo Chipmare. Years Sayama Yore, they tolerate Chadi, the Rangur Sancho Sentina, the Tamchitri, talking about child, mean or mean, slang made, the Jerem me, Mahara me, Sensational Sim me, the method of Saloma Yore, the one Tele, the Jesus, the channel log you there, Diane got it up, and it said, Lord, to your heads.
Milarepa had said the outer empowerment is to have the vase placed onto your crown, and the inner empowerment is to see your body, see yourself in the form of the deity. So that is the generation stage. Now there is the outer universe and the inner sentient beings. The outer universe consists of the 5 elements, and within the minds of sentient beings, there are the 5 afflictive emotions. And for example, when the mind of sentient beings is disturbed by anger and jealousy and so forth, then that also affects negatively the outer environment, the outer elements, then arise and cause harm. So on the outer level, we have the 5 elements. On the inner level, the 5 afflictive emotions, and secretly the 5 wisdoms. That is, if the 5 afflictions ripen, they ripen into the 5 wisdoms. So ripen, being ripe or unripe, depends on whether or not one has cultivated an altruistic mind, or it's the difference between a self-cherishing mind and an altruistic mind. So if you give rise to altruism, then the afflictive emotions will transform into wisdom. So the outer 5 elements are very much connected to the inner 5 afflictive emotions. And then one's own body, your own body, also consists of the 5 elements. And in your mind you have the 5 afflictive emotions. So actually within one person, the entire outer universe and all beings are complete. Now, we normally think that that's just me, but actually that is not true. And we think that we are some solid individual entity, but actually our body alone already consists of millions of different bacteria and life forms and so on. And so if you cultivate bodhicitta and self-grasping disappears, you will ripen into the nature of the deity. Your mind. Then to ripen the body, you practice the generation stage, the visualization, and to ripen the speech, you recite the mantra. So to ripen the mind, you cultivate bodhicitta. And then when you ripen like into a flower, and then from one flower, many more seeds will emerge. And that is the ultimate fruition from having received the empowerment. So then next we come to the historical background of this empowerment, the Wrathful Padmasambhava. One second. Okay. The emanation of the noble Manjushri, the Tibetan Dharma king, Jisung Detsen, invited the great master Padmasambhava and other learned and accomplished masters from the noble land of India. Having completed the consecrating rituals of the newly constructed great monastery of Chukur Balgisamye, all the other great masters returned to India. Once, when the great master Padmasambhava was teaching at Samaya monastery, accompanied by the Dharma king, there was a spirit called Peha. His body and speech were already subdued, but his mind was still untamed. In the monastery, Peha manifested as a young monk who appeared every day to ask Padmasambhava what he feared the most. And Padmasambhava replied, I have realized the great equanimity of all phenomena in samsara and nirvana. Thus there is nothing I fear. And still the young monk continued to ask the Guru the same question again and again. Eventually, the Guru answered jokingly, I am a little bit afraid of misdeeds. But the Tibetan word for misdeed is dikpa, and Beha, misunderstanding, thought Padmasambhava was referring to scorpions, also spelled as dikpa, so there was a confusion. The next day, when Padmasambhava was in the turquoise-covered shrine room on the second floor at Samaya Monastery, the earth began to shake. It seemed the sky and earth were overturned, and a roar of 1,000 thunderclaps terrified Samya. Padmasambhava knew that it was Peha who was causing this disturbance. He looked out the window of the main temple and saw a huge, terrifying scorpion with 9 heads, 9 mouths, and 18 horns, approaching with Mount Hipporim supported on its horns. The Guru entered the samadhi of fiercely blazing with wrathful power and manifested in wrathful form as large as Mount Meru, dark red in color, surrounded by fire. In his right hand, he brandished a 9-pronged golden vajra aloft in space, annihilating the 3 realms of existence. Peha's consciousness was summoned, and through the great display of the wrathful activity of all the victorious ones of the 10 directions, Peha, and in the disguise of the scorpion, was blessed. The Guru seized the scorpion by its tail with his left hand, and with the vajra held in his right hand, he pierced the scorpion's head with its own stinger. And Peha then offered the core of his life force in supplication, and he promised to protect the teachings of the Buddha. Thus, Peha was bound under oath. The treasure cycle was entrusted to the king and Yeshe Tsogyal. The teachings were recorded by Yeshe Tsogyal, and with an aspiration to be revealed in the future by the rebirth of the king, Nyang Rinpoche, they were concealed for the benefit of future generations. Then the lineage of the wrathful Guru Rinpoche is as follows. The Dharmakaya Amitabha, the Sambhogakaya Avalokiteshvara, the Nirmanakaya Padmasambhava, the Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal, the Dharma King Chisung Detsen, the Dertun King Nyangral, Se Mikyu Dojem, the Siddha Melang Ralpa, Lama Sangye Dashim, Lama Gunshok Shinyin, Dokten Gunga Shönum, Kedrop Champa Gyamtsen, Druko Yonten Dashim, the Bodhisattva Gunga Oma, the Mantrika Dava Ösam, Lama Gawe, Chetsun Namcha Memba, the Gyalvang Chugal Punsok, Chapter Dharmakirtim, J. Ratnam Karma Padram, the Wheel Turning Lord Dhamma Racham, and Ratna Shasanadara. Oh yeah, that's it. And Dixon.
Om Beda Samaya Manapalaya Besa Sato Tino Patishta Dito Me Baba Satakaya Me Baba Subhajaya Me Baba Adarato Me Baba Savasita Me Vayeta Sava Karma Satsa Me Satakshiyam Kuru Ahava Bhagave Sovata Kata Beta Mami Mutsa Beta Masavaya Sado Masavata Abhika De Samaya Jaya Rumlen Boshi Janu Omni Torma Datra Savambe Agrakaya Daya Savambe Kadena Vasavata Ngada Yopijomake Savata Kade Savata Imakana Karanita Barende Sova Savambe Kanina Masavata Bayo Pijomake Biya Savata Kade Savata Imakana Rani da Balenda Sova Sova Begani Nama Sova Ba Yobi Choma Gambe Sova Gadi Sova Lai Masava Rani da Balenda Sova Onga Joja Gedani Chajo Buso Chira Legend of Valija the Yolo Tato Metzen Barji Nekap Kiji Jova Nukun Torche Tambama Mesha Teta Tete Shahamula Toba Tambarji Laran Teta Tanga Tamado the Rataji Ishiro Potajara Tamo Yudava Savam Begani Sama Sumana Sambala Homundana Homundana Alaya Ho Bagaya Daya Ho Be Menjadi jumlah sekarang yang sudah terjemah sudah juga satu sebab juga orang beda rata rata anak aja sebab ada orang makanan yang bersih tapi itu mereka tahu tanji tanji mana ni tak mendadak selalu jadi 장매 봐 dengan cuci 장매 봐 tanji orang 가사 저 당지대 쪽발에 때 탐지 쪽도 되는 무슨 냠도 돼 나빠가면 사기를 양벌 저 나빠가면 사기 탐지 상바된 의지도 가서甚至탐지는 비지나甚至탐지가 땅도 톡성상이더니 메다 버거 메다데 하던 동같이 모여래甚至탐지 당지들 나가 당지 쪽발에 하고 그래야지 nga 사지 탐지가 차별해야지. 인식보다 맛이 최고로 때 잡아도 곳에 사지 탐지 차별이 되어야지.
The root of suffering of all sentient beings, limitless as space, is self-grasping. And as an antidote to that, we offer a mandala. And so we bring to mind the outer universe that is limitless. There's countless universes. And then there is also limitless sentient beings, and they all have self-grasping. And the self-grasping of all those beings and the self-grasping of one person is exactly the same. So we should now gather all the self-grasping into one and think that together we are offering it up to all the Buddhas abiding in space. And having offered up the self-grasping, think that the Buddhas then grant their great love and compassion, which is then received by all sentient beings, by the entire universe and all beings. So in thinking in this way, please offer a mandala. And the mandala is very, very meaningful. So just bringing to mind and remember that the self-grasping of all sentient beings and my own self-grasping are exactly the same. And so now to represent on those Buddhas, Rinpoche said, I'm dressing up in this beautiful hat to now represent all the Buddhas, and now think that you're offering all this self-grasping.
The sadhana page, we have two different sadhanas, Buddha Amitabha and Achichiji Roma. If you have that book, page 16. If you have another book is Deity Yoga Sadhana, is page 10. This Mandala offering prayer. Saye beje soye me dojan ra le ye nye de jimbande sanje yin la me de buwa ye doge Sa song de yin de yin ba de sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin de yin ba de sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la sa nai sa song de yin la me zo na la Dale long yun aze yo ye la me jogen do zar de so sa ze wa dai ju ye ya ba da je ze ye ran gur ye so wa ye ge wa ju ze dai ge je za ba tam je zo be san jo ze mo om guru re na mandala bun za men ga sa men da sa wa re na samaya om.
근데 다소 왔다 갑자기 조라들이 걸 제가 저거에 배들이 뒤집대 사제 담는 거를 보진나 말하더니 거를 와다 잡고 신서자 데라서 왔나 봐. 됐나 봐 강이 요요데. 저도 원고로 갑자기 사서 원거나 사탐지 뒤랑게 사탐지 도저도 뭐야. 사탐지들 거를 못 제대 배운 거요. 그래서 야와 탐지 실용도 즉저 사람들이 세 구독자 돌아오면 난 샘디 뒤집지 사제도 비쩍 맞아 요 말에 샘 있으면 이시 나화다가 되라 네 마포가 생기 인기지 못 샘, 인기지 뭐 돈이 인기 som도 좀 받아라더니 다다 뭐 야병도 찾아래 그래서 가다지 샘들 삼재로 서같이 고창 거에 제로 도저히 나도 서같이 보여 이제도 너는 30지들 함지 되었지 보이면 그때다가 라탄 거를 못 지나 말았다는 거라 패디오 자 디제네 되는 거 속에 잠도 생기 도반에 비요 상거에.
So next we come to the supplications for receiving the empowerment. And so now for the visualization, I think that all the Buddhas of the 3 times appear in the space, and they all appear in the form of different forms of Guru Rinpoche. So in the center we have the main deity, the Wrathful Padmasambhava, and then there is peaceful and wrathful, the various kinds of forms appearing all in the form of Guru Rinpoche in the space before you. And actually, in general, whatever empowerment you receive, whichever deity, at that time when you receive the empowerment, you should think that all the Buddhas, all the other deities, appear in the form of that empowerment from which deity you receive the empowerment. So in the form of that Vajra holder. And so today it is the empowerment of the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche. And so in general, also it is said that within the expanse of primordial wisdom, all the Buddhas are one. The deities only appear in different forms and colors on the outer level, which is just like wearing different clothes, like one person wearing different dresses. But within their mind, all the Buddhas of the 3 times are actually one. And that mind is the non-dual primordial wisdom. and that abides like space. And there also is an immeasurable compassion for all those sentient beings who have not realized that. So a sign, a symbol of this this unity of emptiness and compassion is the deity in Yab Yom, male and female aspect. But actually what they represent is one person's mind. For example, when you laugh, then you feel happy. For example, when you're together with a friend that you love very much, then you will feel happy. So you understand, therefore, that the nature of love and compassion is happiness. And so now, again, before we supplicate, as you supplicate, think that all of the Buddhas and the deities appear in the form of Padmasambava in the space before you, and think that in their presence we are taking the vows of refuge on bodhicitta. So now for the supplications, the way we will do it is we will switch between English and Tibetan. So we go through the Guru, who is the embodiment of the enlightened body, speech, and mind. And so then we will first say the body in Tibetan, and then the body in English, and the body in speech in Tibetan, and then the mind and the speech in English, and then the same for the mind. And so we should at this time think that the Guru is the embodiment, like a wish-fulfilling jewel, the embodiment of all jewels, of the 3 jewels and the 3 roots and so forth.
Namo Lama Dershek Dupeka Kuncho Sumje Rangjin La Da Tang Ro Cho Simjin Nam Changche Parda Japsochi.
Now in English. Namo Guru, who embodies all the Buddhas and whose nature is the 3 jewels, I and all sentient beings of the 6 realms take refuge until enlightenment is reached. So, covered. Nga sung la kore, ale nga ko la ndana. Ale nga sung la kora. Oh, nga sung dan thok lo kora. Oh, okay. Okay, so actually we have to go through body, speech, and mind. And I guess Rinpoche wanted first the body in Tibetan and speech and mind in English. So we did the body in English, so let's do the speech and the mind in English. Namo Guru, who embodies all the Buddhas, speech, and whose nature is the 3 jewels, I and all sentient beings of the 6 realms take refuge until enlightenment is reached. Namo Guru, who embodies all the Buddhas, mind, and whose nature is the 3 jewels, I and all sentient beings of the 6 realms take refuge until enlightenment is reached.
네가 대시도 하자 가르친 거여서 소소랑한 그 출력 접사 가래야 봐. 라는 통화 잡기도 맞제니 대라. 주습도 사제 탐지. 꼭 견디는데 송삼칠는데 톡 사제는데 톡 상제 가래잖아. 인피로 오리선데 다디면 인피로 진짜 상제라고 요래. ሰብ 대식 넘보데 인피로 섭지 상제 피고 상제 서버산나들이 톡 상제들 나한테 봐 상례 인피로 제대요래. 세분의 사기를 통속을 시라고나 대외들이 제대로 게두바 찍을 주습도 사기에 잡도 참여를 했어. 근데 때렸다 지리적들이라 주습도 사기를 꽤 발른 제가 다시 가야 버려 버려 게두바 담지라.
So that's actually a very important point to understand, because no matter what practice you do, whatever lineage you follow, whatever practice you, sadhana and so on you practice, it always begins with taking refuge. And when we take refuge, we also understand that the guru, sangha, is the embodiment of the three jewels of the three time. That is, the body represents the sangha, the speech, the dharma, and the mind represents the Buddha. So how is the mind the Buddha? It is because of the altruistic mind. When there's altruistic mind, there is no self-grasping, and that mind itself is the Buddha. And now when, for example, we all possess Buddha nature, and anyone then who cultivates a wish to benefit others, whoever has that state of mind, their mind is really the mind of the Buddha. And Buddha, so it means in Tibetan sang ye. Sang is to clear away, and ye is to vast or expansive. And so what is cleared away is the self, and what becomes vast is altruism. And when you, if you have wisdom and you think about others, when you cultivate an altruistic mind, and then look at your mind, you can actually see the Buddha. So it is important to understand that one sangha represents all of the sangha and the three jewels of the three times. For this reason, for example, if you just give one like candy or so to a sangha, it's like making offerings to all of the sangha of the three times. Therefore, we have to feed the sangha well.
왕바 사제를 잡도가 휴선 참아 상가래. 내가 오, 나 상가에 가서가 잡고 상제에서 줘 봐요. 거래. 참아 그린 말에.
And actually, anyone who has taken the refuge vow already is a sangha. And once you have taken the refuge vow, you should think that I am a sangha, I must protect others. Therefore, basically, if you have love and patience, you are a sangha.
샘지 로와 꾼동도 라마 상제 럼네나 강라 강들 천레기 로도 달월 담자오.
In English, I give rise to bodhicitta, and for the sake of all beings, I will accomplish the Guru Buddha, and thereafter I vow to serve the needs of all beings of the 6 realms by engaging in enlightened activities.
강락강들 틀려지 강락강들 틀려지들 변하다. 그걸 못해서 사실 샷자서반이 쳇바빠서요 말이야. 강리들이 그걸 못해들라 뒤는 말을 심지성지 유명하고 하더라 빠인데 들이 소삭적으로 들었다고 요를 말 내가 조금 들으면서 유명하고 와도 서로나 들이 유명하고 막방들이 상하냐들이 도르트 같은 거를 못해서 말이야. 난 서거를 보지 난 사지 찾아서 봐. 쳇바빠서요 말이야. 이 사제샤 육dun이 삼아 송로래 특바진 걸 송고요래 가시로 사제가 삼아 송된다고 상고요래 말에 내는 오늘 생기 줘 탑에 들이달리 탑으로는 봤었는데 오 동쪽과 돈은 생기 줘 탑에 해야지 제발 말해야 된다.
So now we just said I'm going to benefit beings, or I'm going to tame beings according to their needs. And so actually now there is actually not the slightest difference between Guru Padmasambhava and the Buddha Shakyamuni. Guru Padmasambhava or Guru Rinpoche appeared now in the degenerate age because at that time, in the degenerate age, the afflictive emotions of sentient beings are very coarse. And they are so strong that only the Vinaya, or only the individual liberation, is unable to actually subdue them. They are completely controlled by their afflictive emotions. And so the Vajrayana path, the secret mantra path, is a method to abandon the afflictive emotions actually without, or liberating them without the need to abandon them. So there is a method to liberate them without the need to abandon them. That is taught by Guru Rinpoche. Actually, on the outer level, he appears as Guru Rinpoche, but on the inner level, there is no difference at all between him and the Buddha Shakyamuni. And actually, when the Buddha Shakyamuni himself was alive, he also taught the Vajrayana, and he taught the Mahayana. Because some people claim that he didn't really teach the Vajrayana or the secret mantra, but that's actually not true. The Buddha just taught different methods to liberate sentient beings, different levels of methods. But the point is always the same in sutras and in tantras, and that is to liberate the afflictive emotions in the minds of sentient beings.
Lama
Nama
Yedam
Yedam
Kandoshik
Kandoshi
Nyeda
Yeda
Peme
Pema
Den La Yok
Tenlashu
Lunga
Nunga
Yisum
Yesum
Gursansar
Gujaksa
Senang
Senang
Sangsum
Sangsum
Chubamber
Chubambun
Nyamcha
Nyamcha
Derde
Dente
Torshingsha
Torshin Sha
Sangha
Sanga
Drabla
Dupla
Ji-rang
Jeyirang
Mindor
Mindor
Sangha
Sanga
Chunkorkor
Chungkongkor
Nyangi
Nyangan
Menda
Menta
Shindong-yok
Shindunsu
Ningbo
Ningbo
Semjin
Samchen
Tongde-ho
Dundungmo
Yangda
Yangda
Dorji
Yaji
Tongdo-hyo.
Dundusho. In English, Guru, Yidam, and gathering of Dakinis, please come here and be seated on this cushion of lotus, sun and moon. I prostrate respectfully with body, speech and mind, and render outer, inner, and secret offerings, all impaired and broken vows, evil deeds, and obscurations, I lay bare and openly confess I rejoice in the accomplishment of the secret mantra. Please turn the Dharma wheel of the ripening and liberating secret mantra, and do not pass into nirvana, but continue to remain for the benefit of others. I dedicate the heart essence for the benefit of all sentient beings. May they realize the authentic Vajra nature.
Tenida that body is wrong body semta. Then semina pingu the rocky motivata the young around the same year shima on your songs. The lady bala the ta the body met jump the body similar sharma sana the year shella sent to the day. Met some the that is said the better have to go on padre on the other time met some there's the cuddles and make on the shutter and the Jen Sabatam is there Jen you don't want it to be shut to your some not woman melons of him the shower did around the same melon of the shut your didn't do shut it told it around the same this around some shut it. Dit is een tangoterie, er is het zijn maar wat je die waren die zonder met dat is daar. Terug komen dat die paard zijn zo jan dit met dan dat ze paard zijn schade die. Moet zijn zo zo moet schade die maar pas dan maar. Deze kwam de zaken zijn bij lower mijn trouble maar aan de lower trouble. On the lower Chaval, some sort of me tomatoes, that's how you must know. Simple yellow tapala, Madama shop sat some other to roll some mother, to what a mother to roll so much had it. They have one day, oh, time we need to ping the whole sum. They have got to jelly. They one going to Barbara, that's archable, the young thing of the top of the heart. Then just try to come in a father, the other on the top, the same shutter. They do. Try with the shutter, the alarm, the party shutted the young same number supplement, clumsy shutter, shuttery, clumsy chippery of my head.
So you have received this picture, this image of the deity. Take that image and hold it in your hand. Look at the image, then cultivate again a wish to benefit sentient beings. And once that arises, a sincere wish, may I benefit sentient beings, in that moment instantly think that this mind, your own mind, transforms into red Shri syllable. So then you look at the image and close your eyes, and that image then might appear in your mind. If it doesn't clearly appear, then just focus single-pointedly on the red Shri syllable. So close your eyes and practice that, and at some point Rinpoche will ask us to open our eyes, and at that time you open your eyes and directly look at the image you're holding in your hand, and then again close your eyes and have this image appear in your mind. And so then later repeat this again and again. In the beginning, when you look at the image and then close your eyes, what appears in your mind might be just the color of the deity, or just like the fire masses. And that's the beginning of the generation stage, when we visualize. And then if you already are familiar with the generation stage, the deity might clearly appear in your mind. That is when the mind is clear and free of all thoughts. The mind becomes like a clear mirror, and the deity can be reflected clearly in that mirror. And so when the deity appears in your mind, it may appear that it appears to you, like in front of you, but it's really within your mind. You're seeing it with your mind. So that is how we begin the practice of the generation stage. So focus on that first, single-pointedly, and do not be distracted. So hold this image in your hand, and then close your eyes, and when you're asked to open your eyes, then directly look at that image. And in the meantime, while you have your eyes closed, it is sufficient to just visualize the red Shri. And if that's difficult, you can also look at the image again and again and have that a vague image, even just the color, appear in your mind. And what appears in your mind actually is the actual deity. There is no difference between the appearance of that deity in your mind and the actual deity. It is the deity. And that deity is actually innate to your own mind. Your own mind by nature is the Buddha. The mind is only temporarily obscured. It is due to this concept of an I that the mind becomes confused. But it is that when that stain is cleared away, the mind itself is the actual Buddha, because the mind itself, on the basis by nature, is pure. It is just like you have pure clothing. Then temporarily it might become dirty, but that impurity can be washed away, and then you still have the clean cloth. It is like the nature of the mind. And if you understand that your true nature is actually pure, then you will really understand the benefit of visualizing the deity, and also understand that what appears is the actual deity. And so in general, the images that you receive during the empowerment are actually very precious, and you should hold on to it with great care. And also sometimes when you don't have the time to read the sadhana, just have a look at that image again and again and have it appear in your mind. And then what appears in your mind might appear in all kinds of different ways. Sometimes there are flashes of the deity and so on. But in whichever way it appears, it is the actual deity. There's no difference between that and the actual deity.
피고 선을 로데라 로다바 니요레 가시고 당 잡을 피고 선 데로 상불레 가시가 왜 잡을 피고 선을 로지 열라나 타 대진이 당내 산속 생기 소설 보면 되다고 다 잡을 피고 상고요 사례 다 잡을 피고 로사 즉 왜 피고 상불레 대 소소소소 세면대 가르스 안마도
So again, first cultivate a wish to benefit others. And there's actually two kinds of like wishes to benefit others, or two states of mind. Some think that may I benefit the world, and others think that I really benefit the world. And there is a difference, because there is a certainty, like I can really benefit the world, and that certainty is the mind of bodhicitta. The other one, the first one, is more like I should think that I should want to benefit the world, but there is this lack of certainty. But so when you think that I'm really going to benefit the world, then that is a mind of bodhicitta, like a resolve. Yeah, so now open your eyes and look at the image again and again and meditate for a while. So repeat this again and again. Look at the image, close your eyes, have it appear, and so on. And so first, maybe just the color, the red color appears, or the fire masses surrounding him. And it should be really like vast masses of blazing fire. For example, like a whole forest is on fire, like a wildfire, like it's very large and fills up the entire space. So repeat this again and again, and if the deity does not appear in your mind, you can just visualize the red tree syllable, and also you can visualize that syllable in any language like English, Tibetan, Chinese, and so on. Just see it like a red flame, like a light that you either visualize at your heart or your navel. and think that it is just like your body is like a vase, an empty vase, and you're placing like a light inside that empty vase. So visualize the red shrimp, and actually also a red hung would be fine. Just remember it again and again. Also, you can practice the Om Hung Vajra recitation. So now we are going to take a break for 30 minutes. And so in general, there is no difference between visualizing either the Shri or the Hung, because actually the Hung really represents the mind of all the deities, but now here in this context, visualize the syllable in red color. So if we take a break now, you can rest, use the restroom. If you don't have to use the restroom, you can just stay here, seated, and meditate. And also Rinpoche said when he again enters the room or leaves the room, don't get up. He says because if you always get up every time he enters the room, it is like a great, like a negativity, like a negative karma for him on his part. So don't get up.
This is actually, maybe, I don't know which one is going to be easier to read. This is the same thing. This, yeah, well, this is he sent me an email of a scan of it, and I changed it to make it a little more legible, to make it as clear as it could. And I was hoping to get a reading transmission for it, for the interview, or for the group. Wednesday, 16th?
I can have an ask you.
Okay. Can you read this yourself, or?
Like a samaya.
Oh, okay. I just thought, if you were able to read it, you might help him. I know his eyesight is poor, but in any case, so James, I got it from him. I wanted that transmission for so long, and I didn't know, and he said, oh, I have it, and he found it, and he signed it. Also, if you have like 10 minutes at some point, I'd like to talk to you freely here, to just tell you some of the things that I want to talk about. Would that be all right? Okay. Yeah, I don't mean right now. Yeah. Oh, good, thank you. I didn't get a time. There's just a list that he gave us. And it tells us sometime. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Yep. Right. Okay.
Rinpoche's kindness. Incredible. You know, he could be resting, he could be meditating. We have to keep being reminded of getting again. So patient.
마음은 이제 그 됐다 버리는데 그러면 이제 꼭 체들아니 거지 또 그래 내 야는 역으로 말이지.
Rinpoche has this statue here of Guru Rinpoche with the staff. He said that in the future maybe you can change that. It should be like this down here. It should not be like, you shouldn't stick it like kind of in his like short pocket in front.
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme Hum. 근데 다다 그 제름 고바다 그 왕성 그래 제름 다다 애들이 샘샤되나 들이 서 르드랑 그 메도 롱버정 난 샘들이 제르는 저들이 들이 사세 제야메가 제는데 바로 니바니 들이 사태 시간을 사세도 있으면 봐 상계 특별히 제르는 저 버렸더니
So the form empowerment is the empowerment to the practice of the generation stage, to visualize your body in the form of the deity. And so when the deity, the visualization appears in your mind, it is like your body becomes like the stalk of a flower, and then within the mind, the generation stage, the deity arises. So it's really arising in the mind. And then when the deity always remains in your mind without ever forgetting about the deity, then later in the second bardo, you can merge non-dually with that deity and attain enlightenment in that deity's pure land. So that is accomplished only in reliance on that generation stage.
저는 왕대서 어떻게 torma tip을 tiene tiene cosa toca sala torma tiene tata tormada 돈바다 추디자 다 탐지 뭐 직발에 사 탐지들이 돌아나 이 정도 이제요래 그래서 딱 가시가 때 돈바 먹으려고 요래 대탐지 그래 소름 치고래 대탐지 사 탐지 야예 강도 남들이 돈만하고 직발에 들이 돈만에서 레시 잡나 법학의 용대에서 추진의 용대 세상에 학과든 추진의 토거들이 주습지 상계 탐지들은 추진의 상탁요래 애들이 추진의 사주석에 대소고 뒤집어들이 평하고 그래 애들은 또 맞추고 그랬더니 이제 시작을
So today's empowerment is conferred mainly on the basis of the Dharma. And so through the Dharma, we are receiving the blessings of the enlightened body, speech, and mind. And the Dharma, or a vase, or a stupa, all have the same nature. Actually, it is explained that the Dharma has 4 main qualities. For example, there are some people who like to buy vases, and that is a great merit. And the vase also represents the immeasurable palace of the deity, and also the deity itself. So the nature, the qualities of the vase and the stupa and the dharma are the same. The stupa, for example, represents the enlightened mind. Within that, all the Buddhas of the 3 times are complete. So the stupa is an example of bodhicitta. So today's empowerment, again, is conferred based on the Dharma.
그래서 만나서 뭐 야예 카드시 봐서 그래 야예 카드시 봐 로항신보다에 그래들 사고 세워먹고 욕투고 요래 사이시 바데들이 체도 사례를 해야 되나 배가서 잡고 저거 남과서 로고 자통도 저들이 너는 사 찍으려 사대다 답지 그 진짜니 받적 창고요래 되나 저거 남과서 그 찍다 되면 타게 돼 봐지 라고 좀 왔다와야 송고요래 대회 그래서 담소 생을 slaash하게 돼 무슨 샤키요래 이제 배대다더니 자총다와 저런 거 자총다와서 되니 돌마디 나나 그래서 세상 바고 욕토고요래 바다 샤시바서 담보 야예 컨테시바 바다 샤시바
So the Dharma represents the immeasurable palace of the deity. So as such, it is just like a very large hotel. And many millions of deities, forms of deities can dwell within that palace. So what really dwells there is the wisdom beings, and their nature is the Dharmakaya. And the Dharmakaya nature is all pervasive like space. And the deity that appears is the rainbow-like form of the Sambhogakaya. And the deity possesses all the deities possess the qualities of omniscience, of loving compassion, and the power to grant protection. And so all of these qualities are included within any deity. And they are indivisible from the space-like Dharmakaya. Within that nature, they transcend singularity and also diversity or multiplicity. They are free from all limitations. They are also referred to, therefore, as the illusory form of the deity. But the deity that appears is the actual deity, and it is represented, for example, by the Dharma. The deity itself that appears is the Sambhogakaya, that is rainbow-like in nature. So again, the first quality of the Dharma is that it is like an immeasurable palace, and millions of deities can abide within it. And then the second quality of the Dharma is that the Dharma also represents the deity itself.
선발은 출발시 봐서 로강시보는 내용과 가리는 출발 사단사모 되는데 내용과 함께 요래 때는 초과양 또는 참고요래 대가서 또마도 저기 나가 제가마다 되는 좋고 요래서라 이나들이 조금 빠르 되게 또만 출발시 봐서 너는 로강시 봤다는 초과용도 똑같이는 요래 참고 요래
Then the third quality is that the Dharma also represents an offering. For example, in a very big hotel, you have all the sense pleasures that please the five senses. Everything is present. Like in the Dharma, you have countless offering gods and goddesses that make offerings. And now the Dharma also is blessed with all kinds of substances during the empowerment. But what's most important for that actually is the visualization. So the Dharma is just like a large hotel within which many deities abide. And within that hotel, you also have various offerings. So all the offerings are also complete within the Dharma. And then the fourth benefit of the Dharma, the quality of the Dharma, is that it also represents a blessing. And often, normally, the Dharma is made out of dough, and then we eat part of it. And that Dharma dough then represents the nature of bodhicitta, of that deity. And as such, it becomes the single medicine that cures 100 illnesses. All of the illnesses and all of the suffering in samsara, in this ocean of suffering, is caused by the 84,000 afflictive emotions. And they all have their root in self-grasping. The antidote is bodhicitta. So the essence of the Dharma is bodhicitta. And when we eat part of that, then we receive the blessings of bodhicitta. And so to represent that blessing, today you will receive blessing pills, nectar pills that have the same benefit, the same blessing. Those pills represent the blessings of the Dharma. And actually, whatever pills you generally receive, they all really have the same benefit. There is those nectar pills or mani pills according to the newer and older systems and so on. People make all kinds of different blessing pills, and they all have the same meaning, no matter what lineage they're made in. And once you have received those blessing pills, it's also important that you actually eat them, because often people actually think that these blessing pills are so special, they put it on a very special place and they don't even dare to eat it, and they just put it somewhere and let it sit there. But then actually they become not beneficial to you. They actually need to be eaten until it's finished, until you have eaten them all. And if you eat those blessing pills, you're purifying the obscurations in your own body, speech, and mind. And most importantly, these blessing pills are an antidote to self-grasping. They purify the mental obscurations. So it's important to really eat them, because by eating them, bodhicitta increases in your mind and the afflictive emotions gradually diminish. And then also, whoever comes into contact with your body, or sees or hears, comes somehow into contact with you who have taken the blessing pills or passed them on, for them the seed of liberation is planted. So you should eat those blessing pills, one pill each and every day without skipping a day. And if you have extra, you should pass them on to others. You can also mix them with food. And also they are good to prevent illnesses, because all illness ultimately arises from self-grasping and the afflictive emotions. So eating those blessing pills also helps cure illnesses. So these are the pills that you're going to receive later on.
오 탐제도 돼 동반지 차로스나데 라미가 동반이데 오 다지 님도 세도 다지 님도 상관들이 선만 갖다가 차로 동다고 대마시 받으라 샵 파라도 선바서 샵도 파라도 선바 강을 다지 님에와 하고 그래 선을 다지 님에와 대외들이 배다가 마사다 홍대 탐행제 보고들이 샵 오니가 또 타바티
And then also you will receive this wristband, this bracelet, that also has printed on it the Guru Rinpoche's name mantra, Benzo Guru Bema Siddhi Hong. And so that actually is also has the name has actually a very important meaning too. That is, Benza is the Vajra, and the Vajra represents the skillful means of great compassion. Bemam is the lotus, and that represents wisdom or emptiness. And it refers to a quality in the mind, within our mind. So basically, if you never separate from boundless love and compassion, you realize the non-duality of self and other. You realize emptiness. So when we speak about realizing emptiness, here we speak about it from the ultimate perspective, where you actually realize that self and others do not exist separately. Now, we also speak about or understand emptiness in a more natural way, like everything is empty, all compounded phenomena are empty. But this emptiness on the ultimate level is to realize that self and other do not actually, there's no duality between self and other, because the mind abides like space. So that is what we also call the perfection of wisdom. It is to realize that within the mind there is no duality between self and other. So that is represented by the name mantra. So the Benzo Guru Bema Siddhi Hong, the Vajra, the union of method and wisdom, or great compassion and emptiness. So that is also one thing you will receive later.
매상 같은 배들이 류대 신통은 매자발기들이 루사통은 여성 동반인 여성 랑제 드는 거를 좀 거양제 그 속도가 가면더니 다 됐었나요 나야요 대사지 가면 그 용악을 자다들이 세 용악을 다 그런 자다들이 처음하는 여성상 대체가 자는데 봐 망라가 마다 세종왕을 다마다 다상시 다작동지서 이 홍들이 다 홍고 대서 홍고가 우리들이 만약에 계산을 계획해서 똑같은데 홍공들이 나보다 떨어져요. 제 홍문이 빠져서래 그런 나보다 남을 살아 그래서 홍고들이 제가 홍고를 항상 떨어를 먹는데 자라의 홍제들이 대사는 봐요래 그 사지 뒤집어 사지에 탈지 뒤집어 공부를 가르치고 그러더라 아따 홍에 공되나 홍에 공을 뒤집어 사지에 탈지 공부를 또 빠차고요 강에 다 이이로네 그 홍지였지 홍고도 딱도 들을 때는 다 용어지 이런 각하는 거에서 홍도 많이 나니까 대통령이 요래 대지가들이 나반도 없고 사자 전부 도와 전부 거실에 타고서 내렸던 거잖아 맹성이잖아요 돈들이 랑그 생각 내려 니들도 잡아 니는 가디 있잖아들이 사제라 쪼아차고요래 대통령의 토고왕 때에 대대로 놓고 그때 책임을 맡아요 말에 대통령 와서 소리를 내는 다자시를 했어.
So then for the visualization, when we receive the empowerment, so on the torma, on top of the torma, you have this image, this picture, the tsakli, and think that this tsakli, this picture, is like a mirror within which the deities who abide in a space are reflected. Actually, the deities always abide there in space, but now they are reflected in the form of the Wrathful Guru Rinpoche. And so first we actually think that there is a Guru Rinpoche, and from his heart then the various emanations of Wrathful Guru Rinpoche appear. And so now this particular form of Guru Rinpoche in wrathful form appears, then surrounded by the other deities who appear in similar form, like a reflection in the mirror. And then from that image then, from the deity in the image, then we receive the empowerment in stages. So there will be 3 levels of the empowerment. And first, there will be light radiating from the forehead in white color, then from the throat in red color, and then from the heart in blue color. And so first, in the beginning, we receive the form empowerment. So here, white light is radiating, and it dissolves into the point between your eyebrows. And the moment it dissolves, think that now your whole body has become completely empty, just like a pile of wood being set on fire. The body has become clear and completely empty. And so in that moment, then when the body becomes empty, in an instant, think of the Wrathful Padmasambhava, Guru Rinpoche. Then during the speech empowerment, secondly, during that empowerment, we receive some nectar to drink, and also we will recite the mantra. And so at that time, think that all sound becomes the mantra. All grasping to sound ceases. All the grasping or all the sounds of your inner speech and the sound of the outer sounds that you hear all become the sound of the mantra. So all pure and impure sounds become the empty sound of the mantra. That's the speech empowerment. And then third, the mind empowerment. Then here we visualize the Hong syllable, and blue light is radiating. And the Hong actually has great qualities because it has the power to shatter all thoughts in the mind, whether they are virtues or non-virtues. All of the concepts of the 3 times are shattered by the Hong. That is the power of the Hong. Now, often all kinds of thoughts arise in our mind, and when you just meditate on the Hong, or you say just say the sound Hong, then in an instant all of these thoughts are destroyed and the mind becomes completely empty. Then all becomes the nature of the Hong. And actually it is that if one wanted to practice all of the Buddhas of the 3 times simultaneously at the same time, then one should meditate on the syllable Hong, because within that they are actually all one. The Hong represents the empty nature of the mind, where there is no duality between self and other. When you think of the Hong, then the mind becomes empty. There's no separation. So that's the quality of the Hong. And now this is during the mind empowerment. And so during that empowerment, then you can, if you know how to meditate, you can rest within a state of Mahamudra or Dzogchen. You should rest within the natural state of the mind. Now we call it 3 different names, but actually we are only resting within the natural state of the mind, free of dualistic grasping. And whenever you rest within that state, you actually become one with the Buddha. So that's the mind empowerment. Now here in the empowerment text, the words that describe all of that are quite brief, that's why the explanation. And so the Rinpoche will advise us what to visualize with each level as we get there. And then later, when you receive the empowerment from Rinpoche, because there's a lot of disciples here today, it will be difficult if you would all come up. So Rinpoche will come down to confer the empowerment. And when he comes down, then you can get up line by line, but don't get all up at the same time. So for the majority of you remain seated, meditate, continue to visualize, focus on the visualization. Of course, you can get up and use the restroom, but when it's time for the empowerment, then line by line you can raise. But aside from that, just remain seated and meditate. And now first think that white light is radiating. So at the torma we have the syllables Oma Hong. And so first from the white Om at the forehead, white light radiates, and think that it dissolves into self and other, and all become like the nature of a rainbow. So according to the text, the visualization is from the Om at the forehead of the Dharma. White light radiates and dissolves into your foreheads. The obscurations of the body are purified, and you attain the Nirmanakaya.
我公跟大这不讲啊，当的这不送错个，阿妈我觉得这不啊，这讲的那个头啊，那么把我的红啊红白我干白看着红，这样。
Nibadira.
阿妈不是。
Then next, from the arm at the throat of the torma, red light radiates and dissolves into your throats. The obscurations of speech are purified and you attain the Sambhogakaya.
dcarndt ma jidike ore ma jidike ne ma ga na ka ka yo lo chaba papa na je pa wo de ne ra ma jidike pa ka me ne hong da la ne ma je top song sa ne ma chen de ma de da ma shi na ne be da ro ko na cho go yo re
So then at this point we will repeat the mantra and think that from the sky mantra syllables fall down like raindrops falling down, and then when you repeat the mantra think that you are receiving the mantra garland, which then circles around the seed syllable. So you can just, if the mantra is difficult, just think of the normal Benzo Guru mantra.
Om Ahom Artik Nertik Namo Banga Wate Hong Hong Ahom Hong Pet Not tired of it. Artik Nertik Artik Nertik Namo Banga Wate Hong Hong Ahom Pet Ahom Artik Nertik Namo Banga Wate Hong Hong Ahom Pe Om Ahom Artik Namo Banga Wate Hong Hong Ahom Pe Artik Namo Banga Wate Hong Hong Ahom Pe What begins no down there,
Then from the hung at the heart of the Dharma, blue light radiates and dissolves into your hearts. The obscurations of mind are purified and you attain the Dharmakaya.
들이 설정 주마사들이 사제 탐지가 토경 하고는들이 홍대는 또 홍대 나오요래 홍대 그서 샘라는 샘도 홍는 저쪽에 홍대 제야매가 차던데 보아지고 말이 홍대들이 나과를 주가를 아통성 삼탄을 주고 보관한테 차대요 홍대 여기 하던 자침을 했지.
So the Hong is dark blue and it is your own mind. So keep meditating on the Hong, like Hong, always remaining there. And that's the mind. And the empowerment of the body and speech are more like branches. Most important is the mind or the Hong. So always think of the Hong. The Hong actually appears in all of the different practices, in all sadhanas. They all have Hong, because it is a very precious syllable. The moment you think of the Hong, recognize it as the mind of all the Buddhas. Also, we practice the Oma Hong, for example. And of these also, the Hong is what is most important. The moment Hong arises in your mind has already become Hong. And if you never forget about Hong, actually it is said that there is no need for any other powa practice or transference of consciousness. Then you just, through the Hong, which is the space-like nature of the mind at death, then the mind merges with the space-like dharmakaya, and that actually is the dharmakaya powa. So the Hong really is a most precious syllable. To represent the mind empowerment, you will receive one pill later that you should swallow as a whole, and then think that there's many. We have these many small pills, but think that in each of these pills, inside there is a small Hong syllable, and so you eat it, and then think that you have received it, and having eaten it, think that the Hong then begins to pervade all of your channels, and begins to vibrate like a pulse through all your channels. So all your channels become filled with Hong. So you will receive that later. So eat it as a whole, and then think that Hong pervades your channels, and then all your channels reverberate with the natural sound of Hong and Hong. So this pill that you will receive is actually very precious. It has been consecrated throughout many generations, and also it contains the blessings of all the four major lineages.
그 마토고 공부다 로고도 저거도 손 곰, 손골라서 곰 쌈마서 거리. 다좀 제가 먹은 거거든요. 나가 생내에 들이지 밤에가 그래 때는 이제 계속 공부 수능을 잘만요. 생내에 사제에 맞다도 시에서 왕도도 동공 줄도라. 오, 사제도 잘만요. 그래. 잘 보는 잘야요 말이. 홀께서요만 보려면 사제를 각하고서는 같이 만나봐밀라고 요래. 나밤에 저 생활 남발에 있잖아요. 말이 베트다 뒤통수 보내는 뭐지 그 대충 자사하고서 다 되더라고요.
So we have received the empowerments of body, speech, and mind, and these are the empowerments of Nirmanakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Dharmakaya. And then the ultimate empowerment is the fourth empowerment, which is the empowerment of the essence kaya or the svabhavika kaya. And in the longer empowerments, they also have a fourth empowerment. There are 4 levels of empowerment. And the fourth empowerment is the empowerment of the svabhavika kaya. And so at this point, we have already purified all the obscurations of body, speech, and mind. And then now at this point of the fourth empowerment, we look at the basis, the natural state of the mind that is pure as it is. And that itself is the Buddha. And that is what becomes the Buddha. There's no other Buddha elsewhere to be found. So we have purified the obscurations of body and speech and the self-grasping from the mind. And then you look at that mind, and that mind itself in its pure natural state is the Buddha. And that realization is the essence kaya. And before we have realized that, we practice, we meditate, we practice the Nirmanakaya and Sambhogakaya. For example, we visualize the Sambhogakayas in order to purify the mind. But then when the mind has become pure, the ultimate fruition is the realization of the essence kaya. That is that the Buddha or the deity are never actually separate from your own mind. Lord Jigten Sumgön had said, I have now recognized that my mind itself is the Buddha that I have never separated from. So actually, you have never separated from the Buddha. Even if you wanted to separate, you couldn't separate from the Buddha because it's your true nature. And that nature is unchanging, and it is beyond birth and death. Some people, for example, say, I'm not a Buddhist, but even if you think you're not a Buddhist, your mind is a Buddhist, so you can never really actually separate from it. So whenever you realize its nature, then you realize the svabhavika or the essence kaya, or also it is called you attain the royal seats of the Dharmakaya.
내가 왕 토발에 그래 왕 탐지를 와 탐적을 잡아 탐적을 연락을 탐적 니요래 그래 연락을 탐적 사르라더니 탐적을 망보요래 대송 틀로 됐다고 했더니 용기 요래 대탑하고 요래 그니 대는 잡아 탐적을 마소나 왕나 톱나야 했더니 네 성수를 타야야 말이야 대 잡아 탐적 강을 들어서 삼바다 힘지래 들때는 것들이 무슨 내 그리 파마 그게 좀 되더니 다른 데들 제로 탐지에 탐정선께서 파마 받으러 말이 데르더니 딱 근심 받는 탐색시 받에 그렇지 습지 탐지라고 파마를 내외치 다음으로 자발의 주력 탐색되는 예외지 주력들로 요래 대를 게 방자들을 듣다니 라가 요래 주력 탐색이라는 예외지 대를 다른 상하 왕자들이 소그치 너도 속을 들어야 이메와 하고는 되는 상하나 속을 들어야 돼. 대를 속을 들어야 돼. 강령때 가가 요말 때는 대를 나기 니들이 대를 세상도 차도를 들을 삼지 체로 다시 차용을 요래. 그래서 동고대 처비를 감으로 뺏어서 동고들이 상바도 hin지에 상속선에 그런데 은혜라는 거 냠대가 버들이 라마 그러고 뭐 냠대 며칠씩 냠대 계속 저들이 담적도 성 뭐래 그래서 담적 냠나 샤파지 다다 콘솔로나 다다 니자 발마초가 샤파지 저 수습고요래 그래서 한 담적 세를 타봐서 해서 세를 타봐야 같은 양치 투고요래 에페테도 냠는 사야 소용 사서 넌 상제제 담적이 그렇게 따라가길래 답답했다는 켈레스한테 다다 쪽에 가서봤대 다 탐제 나겠지서 너는 다 탐제 심탐제 송대 많이 랍롱 때문에 탐제 같이 보래샤 때문에 송고도 대왕수나 마이나 늘 산축선매나 야말로 때 하고는 때 탐제 좋다가 때래 대대기는 아래 왕프로에 대대 왕프로 제가 참마게 드리면 배당거를 송되는 그들이 닝마하고 그래 라마자다이가 하지 버려.
So now we have received the empowerment, and like with all the empowerments, the end there is the samaya, and there are two kinds of samaya, the root samaya and the branch samayas. Regarding the branch samayas, each deity has its own branch samayas, and there is many branch samayas. And whichever ones of them you're able to keep, that is excellent. However, it's very difficult to keep all those branch samayas. What's most important is the root samaya. Actually, if you do not keep the root samaya, even if you have not even received an empowerment, you will still never become free from the three lower realms. So what is the root samaya? It is love and compassion. And that root samaya must be practiced with especially those individuals that are close to you in this life. For example, your parents, your teachers, anyone that you have a personal connection to. Think that, for example, all beings without exception have been my parents, and so on. So we are a sangha and we hold samaya. And now from a more on a larger scale, from a more distant perspective, in terms of the samaya, we should think that all sentient beings have been my parents. And then from a more close perspective, we should think that all of the religions in this world are actually good, because as long as one has some kind of direction, some spiritual direction, one has a path. One has a path of knowing what to adopt and what to abandon. So that is, once one has any religion, one has that path. And then the Vajrayana, in the Vajrayana, the empowerment and the samaya and the empowerment, that is the secret aspect of the samaya, and that is the samaya is the life force. So we need to recognize that the life force and samaya are non-dual, are indivisible. So there is a very direct link between a connection between life force and keeping of samaya. There is actually no separation. And so what that means is that, if as long as we still have this grasping at a self-other duality, then when you get angry at others or jealous, then you're losing your love for them. When you're losing your love for them, when you get angry and jealous, then you're actually breaking your samaya. And that is just like you're not pouring any water into the tree, so the tree dries out. So the most important samaya, which is like that water in the tree, is love and compassion. It is bodhicitta. And that must be practiced. This samaya must be upheld towards those individuals that we are actually have a personal connection to, that we are together with, like our lamas, the guru, and our friends, our companions, those people that are very close to us in this life. Towards them, we must hold the samaya actually most importantly. It is really towards them that we must hold the samaya. And then if we break the samaya, it can be restored through confession. And confession must be practiced every day. That means without letting a day pass by. So if you got angry today, then you have to confess it before it is tomorrow, without having a day pass by. And if you confess without having a day pass by, it can become purified. That samaya, it is said, is like a golden chain. When a golden chain is broken, it can very easily be fixed, but also it breaks easily. It is said that the samaya very easily is lost, but also very easily can be restored, can be fixed. So the samaya again is love and compassion. And now when we repeat the samaya, we should think that I am going to accept, I will keep this samaya. So there's this line that we will repeat, I will do all that you command, and so on. And that is the samaya that is in the mind. So whether we actually say it out verbally or not is secondary. What's important is that you really think to yourself that this is very important and I must keep this samaya. So that must arise within your mind. And it is very important because whether or not you receive empowerment, if you have no bodhicitta, you will fall into hell. So that is the most important samaya, it is bodhicitta, and that is the supreme samaya. So then after that, Rinpoche will offer the empowerment to you, and while he's doing that, we will recite the Guru Rinpoche mantra, maybe the normal mantra, because the other one is more difficult.
Sancho,
Sancho,
Semcho,
Semcho,
Rinpoche,
Rinpoche,
Marji,
Marke,
Banam,
Panam,
Jijerche,
Gegyorchik,
Jiba,
Gilba,
Nyamba,
Nyamba,
Mebaryang,
Mebaryang,
Gongle,
Gongne,
Gongde,
Gongdu,
Pewasho.
Pewasho.
이게
And in English, may precious supreme bodhicitta arise where it has not yet arisen. May that which has arisen never decline, but ever further increase.
Guru Padmasambhava Om Guru Padmasambhava Om Guru Padmasambhava Om Guru Padmasambhava So we're going to do the dedication. The Amitabha Achi Sadhana is page 77. If you have the deity yoga sadhana, is page 157. So Achi Amitabha is 77. Deity yoga sadhana 157. Dorjenchang, Telopa, Naropa, Marpa, Malarepa, Dharma Lord Gambopa, Pamotopa, and Lord Digompa, please bestow upon us most auspicious blessing over all the Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve emanations. By defeating all enemies, confession. May all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where the sunborn may it arise, where this born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activities suffer far and wide. I pray that I may not be suffering from you. As Mujashiri, they will realize the automatic state, and as did Samaya, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the invisible Sangha, order may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by inner rule of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. May the teaching of Great Digompa Ranashiri, who is omniscient, Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until end of the samsara. For this realm, circled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of very benefit and blessing without exception. Tenzin Jamso, you who are one with our local Shora, may you remain satisfied until samsara say, embodiment of the precious jewels, Pemapane, who holds the teaching of the victorious one, seeing all goodness, meaning with the wisdom eye. May you who are spontaneously establish activity living long for hundreds of kalpas. Noble Manjushri, the Lord of Speech, who manifests to hold the teaching of the Tapijem, who rests the lamp of the sage's teachings. May you are in the of Dhamma living long for hundreds of kalpas. The next page. The one known in the Holy Lands is Aryan Deva, emanating Garchen of extinct Tibet as Chidemba. The heart sound injecting Songo. May the life of glorious Garchen remain satisfied 400 years. In this age of satisfied, when the victorious teaching faces hardship, through his powerful Vajra-like conduct, he takes on himself the heavy responsibility of the unbeast teaching. May the Garchen sound of teaching living long. Thank you very much. So today, tonight is 7:30, 7 o'clock starting. We have Guru Rinpoche Bonso. Bonso is 100,000 accumulation so offering ceremony. So this is the 4 long level of Garchen Rinpoche. And so we asked the, Khenpo Tenpa asked him to divination for Garchen Rinpoche. So he checked this divination, right, divination? Okay, so he checked the divinations and his suggestion. So his advice is this Guru Rinpoche 100,000. So he told we have to do for Rinpoche's long life. So actually 1 million, 1 million so offerings. So but we can do here only 100,000 right now this time, 1 million takes a long time. So anyway, so that is puja is tonight and tomorrow. Please join that puja. And this Khenpo Tenpa Tarje is is a strong successor to Khenpo Menser. So you know the Khenpo Menser, right? So Khenpo Menser is Garchen Rinpoche's Ru Guru, and he receiving most repeat instructions from him. So Khenpo Menser is passed away maybe many years ago. So Khenpo Tenpa Tarje is his lineage holder. I also meet him, this Khenpo Tenpa Tarje, maybe 90, so 91 or 90 something like that with Garchen Rinpoche, and we also receive many teachings from this Khenpo. Also Garchen Rinpoche also receive teaching from this Khenpo Tenpa Tarje. So now we ask him, the advice for long level ceremony for Rinpoche. So then his recommended or advice is Guru Rinpoche's 1 million. So that is we're going to do practicing together tonight. Also good, today Rinpoche giving Padmasambava Wrathful empowerment. We receive that. So we use this piece for sadhana and Padmasambava this so accumulation is actually wrathful, peaceful is the similar, very similar. Only the visualization part is a little bit different. Other section, everything is the same. So that's why we use that sadhana. We practicing tonight together. Thank you very much. Join together.
So just wanted to let everyone know that we have a beautiful picnic set up outside, so please join us. We have lots of food. We have soup and bread, and we have birthday cake. And I know that'll bring everybody running. So please join us. Thank you. And I'd just like to add a special thank you to our Vietnamese community who provided the soup today, and to Elvira. So thank you to our cooks.